this is one of the beauties of speaking to a broker. Just a shameless plug here.
Absolutely.
But like I said, we by law have to uncover what is it that the client's wanting to do now and long term. What are they looking for in a mortgage and what's their current circumstances?
Yeah.
And so we push a whole lot of buttons on our software that then says, okay, based on all of these elements, this is the best rate for the client.
Yeah.
And that's why when a client calls me up and says, okay, well, what's the lowest rate you've got in the market? I physically can't answer that because
dollars on our mind. Ideas all the time. We might get distracted, but we're building wealth just fine. This is dollars and distractions. If we went off track, just know we're coming back. More money, more mindset, no holding back. Dollars and distractions.
Hey, I'm Maryanne.
And I'm Bec.
And today we've got a really interesting topic, I think. I think it's interesting because
I've forgotten it.
oh, cool. Let me remind you.
Of course I have.
Let me You've had a morning, and I haven't. I've had a really cruisy morning, actually. So it's Friday morning. We're pre-recording, trying to be organised.
Just talking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying. And it cracks me up whenever I see you playing.
No, because I'm really conscious.
We're trying to be organised. And so Friday morning for me is tuck shop morning. So I get up the same time, but I have a whole, and we were just talking about, I could make the kids make their own lunch. I absolutely could, and I should probably pass that down. But anyway, I haven't yet. I will eventually. And so I don't have to make lunches.
Yeah.
I'd already washed and straightened my hair the night before, so just throw a curler in, which we can tell takes very little effort because it doesn't look that great.
It does look good today, though.
It's very boofy. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. It feels very boofy. It needs to kind of like flatten.
I was actually thinking the opposite.
Oh.
Like normally
Well,
you've
let's
got
go with
more
that.
volume.
Buy me a drink and we'll see what happens.
I don't even know what mine looks like.
Yours looks cute.
What does it? No.
It does.
But see, mine's, I was going to say, is it dirty? No, it's not dirty. It's actually not dirty. I threw a curl in this morning.
So let me
Digressing.
Well, that's what we do. It's what we're here for. But let me remind you what we're here to talk about. So often I will have a phone call from a client that will say, hey, what's the cheapest interest rate in the market at the minute?
Mm-hmm.
Or, hey, my interest rate. So this is a one that I got just recently where someone heard about another interest rate and was like, well, hang on, my rate's higher than that. How can that be? How can I have a higher interest rate when I'm with a better bank or what have you? So I really wanted to kind of explore that. And I was going to say my laptop, but I brought your laptop.
You did.
So I can give you some examples. So they'll be as of the market right now. And I need to preference our usual, everything we talk about today is for entertainment purposes only because, and I get
entertaining.
I don't know. That is such a good question. I don't know.
Oh, we should do a vote.
My idea of entertainment is reels or listening to true crime podcasts.
I've noticed this.
Reels?
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually didn't realize how many reels you do watch.
Is that bad?
No, I think it's cool.
I mean, technically it's work, right?
Yeah. It's brain numbing.
But it's work.
It's
so
good,
I
though.
can go, let's do that one.
Yeah.
I'll do that one to Bec this morning, photocopy my face and film her seeing it.
Do you know how random, I'm thinking, this is sidetrack. I was thinking on the way to work, I'm like, I wonder if I can claim my chat GPT on my tags.
100%.
Do you reckon?
I think so.
I
forgot to tell you. Oh, my gosh. I was driving to work this morning, and so I'm on the road with all the other cars. There was maybe like 10 other cars in the intersection right near the Hyperdome.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden this bird just started coming for my car. And obviously I can't do anything, but I was like, oh my God. And I could see it, like it was right at the window going for my car. And then I think it saw its reflection and thought it was in a fight. So it was fighting. And I was like, no, my car. So I text Jeremy and I was like, the hail damage that my car had? Yeah, it's got a bit more now. Like some bird decided to have a biff with it for some
I feel like when
random-
you raise something, I've got something like the weirdest thing, like no bullshit. This week, you can ask Jai, at Scenic Shores, when you get to that intersection, a bird flew onto my ute, like the side tray,
Yeah.
and it started like pecking.
Bullshit.
No bullshit.
Bullshit.
Ask him, and I'm like, Jai, what do I do? Do you reckon I just take off and so it like hits the...
Do
I'm
you
like,
reckon
it's not going to
'cause
get
we're
off.
coming into spring and they're extraterritorial or something?
But why cars?
I know. I was like, what did my car ever do? That poor car has been through it. Like it
So's
was brand
mine.
new a year or two ago. I don't
Yeah.
maybe a year ago. And the hail damage, it ran up the back of it was 2 weeks
Oh.
old, and some kids thought it would be fun to throw rocks at the window and smash the passenger window.
No way.
Plus dinted, like there's rock dints on the passenger side door. It's
Maybe
been
that's just a bad
through
karma
it.
car.
Yeah, but part
had-
of me
I've had
kind
a
of
car like that.
doesn't mind now that it's
Yeah.
been through it. I'm like, you know what? Bird attacking it on the way to work, whatever.
Especially when you buy a brand new car, you know, like when you have like houses, when you get a bit of an older one, you're like, meh, you know, if there's a bit of dirt on the floor. But
Yeah.
then if you,
If it's brand new, you're like, oh no, no, no,
oh, you
no,
know,
it's
don't
got to
touch
stay.
that.
in.
Yeah, like
Gotta look
with
perfect.
kids, you can't be like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you've just worn it in.
It's worn in,
Yeah.
and
And the bird helped.
I think I love it more because now when birds viciously attack it, aside from feeling personally,
We have the same colour car too. I wonder if they
I
like.
think it must
is that a
be.
thing?
Well, it's so funny because what made me think of it, this is my ADD brain. When you talked about ChatGPT, I went straight to ChatGPT and I was like, why my car? Like there was 10 other
Did you
cars
talk
on the
to it?
road. No.
Or you actually typed.
No, I just did the voice to text. You know how much I love my voice
Yeah.
to text.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, why my car? And it said it potentially was the angle of where the sun was and the color of the car meant that it saw another bird.
That's deep.
And I was like, maybe. And then I got out, and as filthy as my car is, the reflection, that's how I know my hair's pretty buffy. I was like, oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah. So a bird had a fight with a fictitious bird, and my car wore the brunt
I
of
think
it.
it's hilarious. I came in and I offloaded my morning to Chat GPT, a bloody bird.
That's how bad
Can
my
we
morning
swap?
was.
I want to swap. I'm fucking jib.
Are you nearly crying?
I am.
This
Like
is
funny, like
this
funny.
is like last week when I
It
was
was.
like, I don't know. Anyway, all right. So we
Topic.
are talking about interest rates.
Yes.
And so before we go through some numbers, let me
I don't
put
feel
this-
like that topic ever goes away either with
No, 'cause
finance.
it-
You know, it's always going to come, go, you know.
I
talk
feel
about-
like, and I know this isn't the case. I feel like banks make finance that more complex so
Yeah.
that the average normal human Aussie person would go, just get my home loan, set and forget, whatever. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that's not the case because there's reasons behind it all. You know, there's reasons why your rate will be different and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I just find it can seem super confusing, but we're lucky because we have the tools, right?
Mhm.
That we just plug in.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. I do understand what you're saying. I also think, like, when you're saying about bank, I also think people.
Was that, sorry to interrupt. Was that you having a little, oh shit, are we recording?
Yeah, I'm like, we're quite into
Do you know when
this,
you first
like,
sat down and you were talking about your morning, I hadn't hit record and that's why I got up and went, oh,
I was just thinking we're quite far into this. Chances are we recording?
it's ticking along. We're definitely
cool.
recording.
Um,
I don't know about these two, but
Yeah.
we've got
Actually, that's what
something.
made me think, did I do that? Yeah. Anyway, the thought process.
We're going to be forever
Holy
paranoid.
morning. Yeah. I'm going to need a champagne at lunch, I think. I do think too that people overcomplicate it as well. Do you know, not overcomplicate it, but I think it stems from not the awareness of knowing finance. And then when it becomes like, oh, I've got to go ask my bank, it just becomes a really complex thing. Do you know?
I agree.
Because it's overcomplicated in your head and then it's just one thing you put on the back. And I could be wrong, but I just think people put that on the back burner a little bit. I mean, you do definitely get your people that go, I want the best price, pricing every 3 months, but
Yeah.
not as much as I think people just
But
tick along.
We've talked about this before on the podcast where if you've got a really minute mortgage,
Yeah.
chasing the lowest rate isn't like it might save you $20 a year, but the cost of moving is way more than that. So
Yeah.
there's all different circumstances
Yeah.
that I think, and I think this is one of the beauties of speaking to a broker just a shameless plug here.
Absolutely.
But like I said, we by law have to uncover what is it that the client's wanting to do now and long term. What are they looking for in a mortgage and what's their current circumstances?
Yeah.
And so we push a whole lot of buttons on our software that then says, okay, based on all of these elements, this is the best rate for the client.
Yeah.
And that's why when a client calls me up and says, okay, well, what's the lowest rate you've got in the market? I physically can't answer that because what's their loan to value ratio, LVR on their property, on their mortgage?
Yeah.
What's their loan balance? Sometimes that plays a part. What's their desires with, am I comparing apples with oranges or apples with apples? So I guess that's the whole idea
And I think
of today.
this kind of was raised. We had a meeting with a BDM yesterday from a particular finance company, and that probably is what triggered for me because, well, this I don't know, maybe because our conversation after that was because
I think we were like 20 minutes into talking about interest rates and went, this is a podcast episode.
Yeah, but even talking to that BDM, like he's fully aware that they don't offer the lowest rate, but they do offer, what would you say, like a diverse range of
It's
humans.
outside the box, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's the loans that the majors don't want to lend to for various reasons. And that sounds like, oh, they're bad people, or that's absolutely not the case. It's just not their appetite.
Yep.
And so the majors go, that's not our appetite. And so this lender goes, you know what? We love that client. There's nothing wrong with that client. We'll work with them, but we're obviously going to charge a little bit extra for the risk factor there.
Yeah, and I suppose that's and even talking to him and talking about Bankland, he was from Bankland, but it's pretty cool that when you're in the bank, well, that's not the cool part, but the cool part, when you're in the bank, you know, there's a square, and then if you fit into that, that's the type of client that they will happily lend to, you know, quite freely. However, like broking and only being in it a year now, it's absolutely cool how there's so many more people that we can help. And it may just be, when you come back to the rate and that particular finance company from yesterday, that might just be a stepping stone in getting a property.
It often is.
Might not be the lowest rate, but it will just be a plan, part of the plan.
Yeah.
Part of the long-term plan.
It's funny that, so a year ago, I had a client come to me and say a separation. She was signing so there was 2 properties. She was signing all of the paperwork to move one property into his name. He was signing all the paperwork to move her property into her name.
Yeah.
Based on her circumstances in that moment, I could only go to one of these outside the box lenders.
Yep.
And I was like, stepping stone, running through, these are your options. I don't put pressure on a client. So I'm like, it's completely up to you. You let me know what you want to do. She came back and said, no, not keen for a higher interest rate. I'll just sit on this mortgage. She came back to me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've got everything ready. We're now ready to go back to ready to go to a mainstream lender and get X paid out. But because she's already signed the paperwork for her ex to have all of the other property, there's nothing she has to get him to sign the discharge and all the paperwork we need signed to get this property moved into her name.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if you heard my conversation with her yesterday afternoon as I was walking out the door, but he's now saying, well, hang on a minute, I'm still technically on the title, ergo the property's gone up in value, I want some money.
Yeah.
So now she has to go to a solicitor and do all the formal stuff and pay solicitor bills and all that jazz to now try and what resonated with me, and like I said, I will never force a client to do anything. It's completely up to them. But what resonated with me is she said, I should have just done it in the first place like you told me to, done it with that outside the box lender, and then we could be talking about refinancing for a cheaper rate now instead of me going, well, I don't know how long this is going to take and I have to go through a solicitor and it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, that's hard, isn't it?
It's heartbreaking for me because, like I said, I can't give that advice. I can only say in this present moment, this is how I can help you. And if someone doesn't want to take it, then, and look, in all honesty, all I said to her was everything happens for a reason.
And that particular company from yesterday, he said one of the biggest clientele at the moment is separation, like people separating. And it is, I think, at the minute, and having gone through it, like it's not something you think of like her going, what do I need to have done, depending on how you separate as well.
Yeah, how amicable it is or isn't.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think that's the frustrating thing for her. It was very amicable until,
until 12, money comes though.
12
and then
months on and
he's,
well, I mean, he could even have someone whispering in his ear going, hang on a sec,
Yeah.
You know, you're on the title, ergo you're an owner, and it's gone up massively in the last 12 months.
Know why, but when we separated, the week after I had a solicitor out, and it wasn't to do with money. I just actually didn't know what you were meant to do from there. And one of the biggest things he said was to get a binding financial agreement done ASAP before people start getting into everybody's ears, like family members, because people change, and they hear different stories, and even talking to that BDM yesterday, like he said, for some reason separations are far more prevalent than they've been in the past. But I think those are the people too, and it's not a negative thing, but there are people, I suppose the moral to that is that there are lenders out there that will lend that may be at a higher rate, but it's only a temporary option to get you through that phase of life, you know? That's part of coming back to the goal, I think.
I've done a loan for a client where the interest rate was about 1.5% above what a standard rate was in the market. And it was because multiple factors, but there was lots of income that wasn't necessarily PAYG income being used, and it was very low deposit, high loan against the value of the property, so very risky for the bank. All these factors came into play. And when I said to her, right, this is kind of to my reel I did yesterday, when I said this is what the repayments are, she was like, well, that's $100 less than what I'm paying in rent.
Yeah.
This was a couple of years ago when property prices weren't ridiculously high.
Yeah.
But she said, you know, I'm actually saving money by having this mortgage, and then when the time comes, we can then move out of this high lender or price it. So, you know, that bank we were talking to yesterday, he said, you know, when there's more equity in the property, come back to them and renegotiate the interest rate. You're not stuck on a massive rate for the rest of your life.
No.
Unless you don't proactively, like if you don't have a proactive broker or you're not proactive, then potentially you might be, but otherwise you're not stuck.
Yeah. And I suppose that's too part of our role is to keep repricing and keep you in that whatever suits you best. Because
So can we talk about the things that might impact the interest rate?
I suppose I'm a prime example taking ours recently, like your deposit, how much deposit you have, which will then, bank jargon, LVR, you know. Yeah. So if you're over 80%, 90% is higher again.
95 is even higher again.
Yep.
Unless you're on a scheme, in which case, if you've got guarantors or you're on a scheme, then.
Which was the other point we made yesterday. I know it's kind of digressing, but I think like a couple of people that we've been helping lately, I think there are options like that we can help you get into a market quicker than you may think.
Yeah, and did you know, I don't know if you know this, but did you know not all brokers have access to the Help to Buy scheme?
No.
So you have to
because of the lender?
Yeah. So, and you have to have that lender on your panel. And if you don't have that lender, access to that lender on your panel, you can't write that deal. So there could be clients going and speaking to brokers and the broker saying, there's nothing here for you, we can't help you. And if they spoke to a broker who has access to the scheme and knowledge around it, and it could be, and it's not necessarily this is for everyone, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But there are some people. I was doing in my head last night, I was doing the math to work out. Remember, we had a broker working with us in the business who said I wouldn't use the Help to Buy scheme.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, let's do the math. And then so I want to do this video eventually. I might do it when you've gone off to lunch. I don't know. But I want to do a video where I do so if you buy with the scheme, 10 years on, this is what it looks like. You don't buy with the scheme, but you buy 10 years on, this is what it looks like. And just doing the math in my head, you'd be better off, assuming property prices continue to go up, you'd be better off to use the scheme if that was your only avenue.
I suppose my conversation with that particular person at the time, because I suppose my circumstances were different back then, but I think you're paying rent. Like I thought, well, you're paying rent. Like you're
paying something
you're
off.
Paying someone, and it's not going to you, and it's not helping you. But if you can own 70% of a place, yes, you may not own 100 right now, but you can have a goal to do that. That's your foot.
Isn't 70% of something better than
0?
100% of nothing?
100%. Well, 100%. 100% it is.
100%.
It is. Yeah.
All right. So loan to value ratio, the amount of deposit you're bringing to the party can have.
You keep bringing it back. I'm loving it.
Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Can have an impact.
Yes.
The type of borrower you are. And what I mean by that is if you're a self-employed person who hasn't done your tax returns yet and you're not ready, but you've found the perfect property, then we may need to use other documents other than your tax return, which means the banks will go, all right, well, we're going to add a little bit of an interest rate onto that for the risk.
Yep.
If you've got even more equity, so 20% deposit or going on one of the schemes or grants, something like that, would give you a good rate, but 40% equity or cash or whatever that looks like, 40% will mean you get an even better rate.
Yeah.
So I think
and also too, on the flip of that, there's the other end of that, you know, when you don't owe much on your loan.
yes.
And some banks won't price at the same
Yeah.
as, say, what is it? I don't know, 150, some 150,000, some
I mean,
250,000.
They're businesses at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So if a client comes and says, I want a better rate on my $100,000 loan that you're making $3,000 a year off in interest, I don't know, I'm just pull these figures out. But then $1 million loan client comes in and says, I want a discount because I'm paying $30,000 interest. Which one are you going to fight really hard to keep?
Which isn't.
That's
it's
not cool.
Great.
It's
No.
not cool. But like
But
I
it's
said,
reality.
they're a business at the end of the day.
They are.
I think, you know, as Aussies, we're very quick to go, banks. But they're a business. And if I'm running a business, I want to be profitable and I want to make money.
And you know, when you were like when I was working in the bank, you're so pro bank, you know, like you're trained to like.
Yeah.
But I remember,
beat that out of you pretty quick.
No, I know. I think that's because there's so many other ways to help people too.
And
but
also, I'm not loyal to any bank or lender.
No, but I used to think when people would say, oh, you know, the profits you make, blah, 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 and I go, well, you shop at Woolies.
Yeah.
You know, Woolies and Coles are the same type of business. They're making money off, there's margins and whatever. Like we all give to big corporate. It just
Correct.
depends on which one you're going to.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think when it comes to banks, anyway, I could go on forever. But if it's because they deal with money instead of food, it's probably just that mindset of, you're taking all my.
So when you're buying a block of chocolate, you don't physically know how much Woolworths is taking out of that.
The portion.
You're just paying $8 for it, which, by the way, $8 for a block of chocolate is ridiculous.
Isn't it?
So I had no idea. And my mother-in-law was telling me last night and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she goes, and it's smaller block sizes now. And I'm like, stop talking. That's ridiculous.
And you know, I also saw a reel because I follow the food ones that it's not actually real. They've changed the ingredient in it.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't melt so quick and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're getting smaller. We're getting like worse quality and then we're paying more.
Yep.
Anyway, chocolate. Yeah.
Well, so to my point, but you can physically see the bank taking their charges out because it's cash. So I think people are like, well,
but
you
also
just took $395 out of my account for my annual package. You know, that's a lot of money. Blah,
also
blah,
because
blah.
of laws and things, they have to be transparent about it, don't they? They have
Yes,
to tell you.
that takes
like
me
us,
to a
we
really
have to
good
tell
point.
you.
So if you are listening to this and you have offset accounts, I want you to go to your offset accounts and check and make sure that they are offsetting your mortgage.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of banks who, unbeknownst to them, have made an error and their offset accounts have not been offsetting.
Yeah.
And so then, I had a client of mine in my book who had I won't name the lender, but they had an offset account that they checked. Nothing had been offset and the bank had to back pay them what they should have. So when a loan of ours settles, the client gets an email.
I find that really hard to judge though, because I mean, I suppose if like I was thinking this the other morning when I seen it on the news and one particular bank had to pay a massive amount.
Yeah.
And I was like, how would you actually go back? Because I for instance, have multiple, then the balance is changing all the time. I suppose you can only do a rough estimate.
But also most banks would when you click on the offset, it tells you how much interest you've saved by having that money in there. So I would be checking and double checking and always checking. Yeah. Are you going to sneeze?
I think so. As long as I don't wet myself at the same time. I'm that age.
Squeeze and sneeze.
Oh, yeah.
Squeeze and sneeze. So whilst we're talking about offsets, offset accounts can mean that you're paying a slightly higher interest rate as well. So if you go, I explain to clients there's effectively two types of loans. There's your no frills basic type product, and then there's the packaged product that comes with all the extra trimmings. The extra trimmings are things like, for most banks, or some banks, multiple offset accounts. Brilliant thing to have, especially if you set it up correctly.
And free.
So you usually
As
pay for
part
it
of the
under the
package.
package. Yeah. But you can get a cheaper interest rate with the basic product.
Yep.
So if you're saying to me, what's the best interest rate in the market at the moment, Maryanne? My first question is, well, like, do you want the basic product and you're going to have all your banking elsewhere, or do you want to really maximize your savings and have offset accounts? Because they're two different interest rates again.
Yeah.
So the amount of equity you have in the property or the amount of deposit you have makes an impact. The type of lender you are, the type of bank we have to use or lender we use makes an impact. Offsets versus redraws.
Fixed versus variable.
Fixed versus variable.
Yeah.
And again, none of those decisions should be based on, well, which is the cheapest interest rate, because you could end up with a product, Daryl at the barbecue might have the cheapest rate in the market, but his comparison rate's massive because he's paying a lot of fees, or he's not maximizing his $50,000 he's got sitting in a savings account over there.
Yeah.
So you don't know their circumstances. It's irrelevant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Just feel like I got on a soapbox.
What's a soapbox?
Isn't
that
I was
like
on my soapbox and I was preaching to you?
I thought soapbox was like TV shows.
So
When I was little, they used to call them soapies.
yeah,
Like
maybe
Bold and the Beautiful.
maybe I called it the wrong thing.
Soapbox. Like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but why is it a soapbox?
I don't know.
Me either.
Slippery. Slippery slope.
It is always when I get passionate. I get very passionate. I get passionate because this is 10 years in October. I've been working in 360 Mortgage Solutions.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of it, and I see a lot of clients going, why is my rate this when my friend's only paying that? And I'm like, well, for me to tell you the answer, I need to know everything about your friend and their current loan and what led them to picking that loan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's our key factor? Like our key takeaway?
I think
It's not always about the rate.
I don't think it is. And I think it's what it is about is talking to a broker who can narrow down, right, if this is the type of client you are and the type of loan you need and what your long-term objectives are, these are the top 4 banks that you can look at and then work through which one you like out of those 4.
Yep.
And then when you're having that conversation or people are talking interest rates, maybe just explain to them, there's a reason that I've got the rate I've got and I've spoken with my broker and I'm happy with it. And then if you ever get that twig of doubt, just call the broker and say, hey, remind me again, why are we on this rate? Why are we on this loan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think ask the question too. Be comfortable to ask the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would much prefer someone call me and ask than to feel like they can't and then end up going somewhere else and getting the wrong advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not everybody is doing the right thing either.
Unfortunately. I think there's very few, like when you come to brokers, I think there's very few.
Yeah. But as you said, though, if there's a broker or a bank that can't write a scheme or they don't have a particular lender on their panel, they may not know. They might, those banks might have the cheapest rate or, to suit you. But if they don't have access to it, they don't have access to it either.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's not up to you to know. That's just to ask the questions. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a wrap.
That is a wrap. Like a soapbox wrap.
Dollars on our mind. Ideas all the time. We might get distracted, but we're building wealth just fine. This is dollars and distractions if we went off track.